And joining us now to discuss the indictment is political analyst Rod Martin. He's the founder and CEO of Martin Capital. Rod, good morning.
Good to be here.
Rod, can you explain to us what exactly Comey is charged with, and perhaps if you know what penalties those crimes carry?
Well, the centerpiece of this, by far, is the perjury he blatantly committed before Congress. There's really no way to get around it. The Inspector General's report was clear. The Congressional Committee's report was clear. The criminal referral was clear. Just nobody wanted to do anything about it. Perjury is a big deal. And will he necessarily get a lot of jail time for it? Don't necessarily know, but I honestly think that's the least of his problems. James Comey is the first of many potential defendants in this, but James Comey is going to get indicted again. And this must be understood. What Kash Patel launched a couple months ago is this grand conspiracy investigation. And the idea of the grand conspiracy is that a great many people were involved in trying to delegitimize and actually depose an elected president of the United States. They did this at the direction of Barack Obama in an event that took place in the White House, and they were all involved in doing something they knew to be false. Now, that grand conspiracy charge that we haven't seen yet encompasses a great many of those things in a way that first eliminates the statute of limitations problem that they were up against on these charges today, and second, potentially puts them in a federal court somewhere outside of the Beltway, such as South Florida, where they can actually get a fair trial. And so the worst is yet to come. This is just the opening shot.
Well, on that point, Rod, from the charging documents, we know this relates to testimony Comey gave to the Senate Judiciary Committee on September 30th, 2020. But on the charging document, names have been anonymized as person 1 and person 3. Can you fill in the gaps for us?
It's not entirely clear. They redacted them for a reason. We can guess. I would certainly think that Andrew McCabe would be one of those. But there were so many. I mean, this is the thing. We have the text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page where, she's just horrified that we could possibly allow Donald Trump to get elected president. And Strzok's response is, don't worry, we're going to take care of it. We have an insurance policy. I mean, this is known stuff. This is criminal behavior. And there's no escaping it. And all of these people are in the crosshairs now. I don't think there's any chance on earth that Kash Patel is not going to make arrests wherever appropriate. And if you read his book, you know exactly who he's going after. He's got a list. And it's not an enemies list. It's a list of known wrongdoers. I'm guessing that when they are called in, they're going to sing like birds, and we're going to find the rest of the wrongdoers, and heads are going to roll.
Rod, you mentioned in your first answer about the statute of limitations. It's after 5 years, it's impossible to bring charges against somebody for alleged crimes. The statute of limitations on this particular accusation, I think, expires next Tuesday. But you're saying that because this has been filed now, many more people can be brought in and questioned. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this particular indictment might not get you to some of these other people for various things they may have done, but the grand conspiracy investigation potentially does, because the theory of that case would be that there is not just a group of isolated acts, maybe Hillary Clinton's email server and the classified documents she mishandled, maybe what happened in the Oval Office in January of 2017. All these different things would, for the most part, be outside of the statute of limitations on their own. But if there was an ongoing conspiracy that continued into relatively recent times, maybe even to the present, then all of these things are chargeable. All of these people are chargeable, all the way back to the beginning of the conspiracy. And if any of them had a nexus with, for instance, the federal court district in South Florida, you could try the whole thing there. So you solve the problem that Republicans have had of not being able to get a fair jury in D.C.
Are you expecting potential indictments with the remainder of the week and into next week, and who may that be?
I don't know if it'll be this week. I hope so. I mean, the truth is, what went on here is deeply damaging to democracy. You can't abuse government to go after your political enemies in the way they did. And frankly, the Russiagate matter constituted a coup. They were seeking to remove him from office by nonviolent means, and ultimately they did. So this is horribly wrong. It has to be dealt with. And if you don't cause there to be some consequences for some of the higher ranking people who made the decisions and gave the orders, the next group of people in is just going to do more and worse. There actually have to be consequences. And the one thing that we have seen unendingly from the very beginning of this is that Democrats walk, Republicans hang. And until you restore equal justice, we don't have a free country.
You mentioned Kash Patel. Obviously, he's leading the FBI at the moment and likely behind a lot of these investigations. In his book that you mentioned, what role did James Comey play in what you've called a grand conspiracy or alleged grand conspiracy?
Comey has been a central figure in this from the beginning. And I want to commend my friend J. Michael Waller, who is a senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy in Washington, former CIA analyst, who's done a brilliant job of showing the ideological background of James Comey and Barack Obama and how they intersect and what they were seeking to do throughout Comey's tenure at the FBI. Kash does a fantastic job of showing how all these pieces fit together. It's not just a list. It's a really good read. People should actually pick it up, just like they should pick up Art of the Deal. If you want to know what's coming, read these men's books. They tell you what they're going to do. And the truth is, we have this because Kash Patel ran the investigation for the Congressional Committee. He actually has had access to the classified documents the rest of us haven't had now for the better part of a decade, and he knows exactly where the bodies are buried. So I imagine this investigation is going to be incredibly well focused. And their cases are going to be airtight, or they're not going to bring them. They're not going to want to get humiliated in front of a jury. So they're not going to indict anybody until they really have the case. And when they do, they're really going to go for blood.
Rod Martin, thank you so much, sir. A lot to watch. We'll have you back.
Thank you.